Hello and welcome. You are listening to The Hello You Show. I'm your host, Jessica Rice, and the founder of Jessica Rice Coaching. This show is for ambitious and visionary-minded women leaders and entrepreneurs ready to uplevel their impact and establish their personal brand and unique voice. It's time, ladies, to make our voices heard. Say hello again to the real you. And this morning, I want to talk to you about owning your energy and making a decision each and every day to really decide what it is that you're going to bring to the conversation. So, what do I mean by owning your energy? And what does that really look like for you? So, am I saying that when you wake up every day, that I want you to go into your toxic job and just be happy? No. And actually, that's something that I struggled with for many, many, many years because I didn't know how to own myself. As somebody who is highly empathic, I take on other people's energy and I take on the toxic work culture and I take on the energy that is coming in from around me. So what I'm talking about is actually, how do you set boundaries? How do you own what's happening around you so that you can set some boundaries for yourself and own you in this process? And so that's what I want to talk about. And I think this is a really important topic because it's what starts helping us decide what's healthy, what's not healthy. How do we set boundaries for ourselves? And how do we make it so that even if we are in the worst of situations, that we can start to see that light at the end of the tunnel? I know that's a question that I have received so many times from coaching clients and even in my own life when I've been working so hard to start my business up and I was working full-time job and, homeschooling my son. How do you keep the energy to do all of these things? And I'm going to say that a lot of it has to do with how you guard your energy as well. So I think a lot of us hear oftentimes about setting a morning routine. And I do think that creating a morning routine is incredibly helpful. How you start your day is how you experience your day, right? However, I think that's a very simplistic approach because we're only now talking about one facet of our day. And to live a truly vibrant life, and if I talk about living a vibrant life quite often, is about all of it, not just when your morning and not just what you're trying to create in that space in the morning. So if you have a morning routine, fantastic. Hold on to that, whatever that looks like for you. If it's morning journaling, if it's exercise, if it's meditation, do those things. But I want to talk to you a little bit even deeper. So if you think about when you wake up every day, you have a certain, a cup that's full, more or less. And depending on how you slept, depending on how you set yourself up the night before for sleep, also determines a lot of this, right? So are you waking up drained or are you waking up refreshed? That's why it's your whole day. It's from morning to night, carried through into the next day, which is why this is so important. It's an important topic. So if you have your cup that's full, you can think of Chinese five-phase theory, a certain amount of chi that you have when you start your day. You can think about introverts versus extroverts. There's that famous talk by Simon Sinek on introverts where he talks about, you start your day with like 5 coins. And as you start continuing throughout the day, different interactions start to take a coin out. I think what's important to note here is, how do you bring those coins back? How do you fill your cup back up? How do you renew, rejuvenate, revive, refresh throughout your day? And this is where I talk about creating a success ritual or rituals for success. And I have a workbook around some of this. So if you want that, feel free to drop in the chat and I'll go ahead and send it on over to you. But I think it's really important that you think about how you craft your day. So I know I've done a talk on time management and how you kind of really think about how you craft your calendar and craft your time. This is a part of that. This is about finding pockets of time and pockets of energy filling activities. And what do those look like? So we're having a coffee chat right now. I do tea time, and I set in my phone 5 times a day a tea reminder. Now, I've been doing this for a long time now, so sometimes I don't always follow the same schedule because I'm busy and I have things going on, but I still keep the reminder. And everyone in my family knows when my phone goes off, and I made it sure it was like the prettiest sounds that I could find, that it's tea time, it's tea time. And what is tea time for me? It's about hydrating, number one. So you can think of it that way. If hydrating is important for you, right? We all need water. We all need to be hydrated. As someone who has been hospitalized for being dehydrated before, I would say that's incredibly important. It's also about taking a moment for yourself. So if you follow tea ceremony, Chinese tea ceremony, Japanese tea ceremony, where you really take this cup of tea and it becomes something greater, and it can take as little as 1 minute, where you can take your tea, you can sense it, right? You think about, what you're smelling and what you're seeing around you and what you're hearing and what you're feeling on your skin, all within this 1 minute. So you can think about those things, and then you taste your tea and you think, what am I tasting? And what that does is it focuses your brain back to where you are at this exact moment. And that's really actually training that neuroplasticity within your brain so that it's more malleable. And you're not just going through automatic mode, which is what happens for us. And so you're really starting to think about how you retrain your brain. And so when we talk about positive intelligence, this is one of the things that we talk about within positive intelligence, and how you retrain those neurons in your brain. So that's what setting up a success ritual can look like for you. So tea time, that's an idea. What other pockets of time can you bake in to your life and into your schedule? I want you to really think about that. Could it be taking a little walk? I think we discount this idea, but oftentimes at work, we find ourselves sitting at our desks, or we have a standing desk. It really doesn't matter, but we're staring at our computer for hours and hours and hours on end. And while it might not be physical, it's mentally exhausting, which, our brain impacts the rest of our body. So it is exhausting. And whether or not we're working out, we're actually not releasing those endorphins and that energy. So working out is a really great way to take those pockets of energy and renew back into yourself, feed your body, feed your soul, and really take in the sights and sounds around you, outside, external to all of the happenings. I think when we're stuck in our computers for so long, we're really just stuck in our mind, stuck in our head. And it's not really healthy, because that's not really a great place to be. I don't know if you've ever noticed when you've not spoken for a really long time and you've been working silently for hours and hours and hours on end, and then you finally speak to somebody, it almost seems odd because you haven't been even practicing that muscle for so long. I know I've gone through that, where years of coding in silence to a certain extent. And then I try and go see with my family. My son was younger at that time. And so it was almost like an attack on my sensory system, because all of a sudden he's really loud. He wants to hug me all the time. He's doing all these things. And I've just literally sat in silence for hours on end, just trying to bang out some code. So I think it's important that we find ways to bring our whole self into our day, and how we interact and how we replenish and renew and, refresh ourselves. So these are a few ideas in terms of how you own your energy. So I would love to know, how do you own your energy? Do you find time to do things throughout your day? Do you bake it into your schedule? Do you create windows or pockets of time that enable you to take back control of your time, of your mind, of your energy? And this, to me, is one of those key things that helps you with building personal resilience. So when you have a passion or a purpose that you're trying to follow through on, you can. And you will start to find ways to create more time for those different endeavors, instead of giving all your time away, giving all your freedom away, and feeling like the puppet in some masterful play. I feel like that's a big key when we're wanting to do something more and we're finding dissatisfaction within our lives, within our jobs, within the things that we're doing and how we're spending all of our time. Because the world out there, it's greedy. It's greedy for you. It's greedy for your time. And if you don't set boundaries and if you don't create those pockets for yourself, they're not going to give it to you. The only one who will is you. And they're not going to look after you, and they're not going to see how you're doing, and they're not going to be there when you wake up in the morning and you're dreading going into your job. They don't care. What they care about is, have you gotten your deadline done? Have you reached your goals? Where are you on this project in this timeline? Where are you with meeting this new demand? So you have to create it for yourself. And when you are someone who's now looking to create, a business or a side hustle or start something even more impactful like a foundation or a nonprofit organization, or use those talents and skills and expertise that you've acquired in a greater way, this is where creating that ritual for success is going to be so crucial. I can't really stress that enough. It's what's enabled me to be able to do all of the things that I've been able to do within less time. And I think that's really key. I'd love to hear from you. So go ahead and, message me on any of the channels that you follow, or go ahead and send me an audio message right here on Spotify's podcast for the Hello You Show. Thank you so much for tuning in today. I believe that this is such an important topic. So really think about how you are owning your energy today. Find something that you can do to refresh yourself. And I want you to celebrate you, celebrate everything that you bring to the table, celebrate all of yourself. And I know that sounds so strange, but when you do this, you are building those endorphins, you are sparking things within your brain, and you are helping to renew and refresh yourself as well, because we need to hear from ourselves that we're doing a good job, that we are finding the time, and that we can keep moving forward. So keep following. See you next time. Thank you for joining us. Bye.